This is a response to King of Lightning's video, Law versus Luffy, who's the better fighter. In terms of who's the better fighter, I think it's definitely Luffy. I think Luffy is the better fighter. If Law doesn't activate Room, Luffy is the better fighter. So I would have to agree with that, with what King of Lightning said. Luffy does actually take the cake without Room being activated. He takes the cake, basically off of strength, speed, and durability. Even though he took durability away, when he talked about Room, which I agree with. But I think with Room activated solely, Luffy won't win. Luffy would not win that fight with Room activated. I don't think, to my understanding, I don't want to say anyone in One Piece, because we haven't really seen the full extent to some people's powers. I wouldn't say anyone, but from the knowledge that we know right now, so far, I don't think anyone can really beat Law in his room. Well, with the exception of NL and Kizaru. Now, the reason why I bring them up is because of their speed. I think Kizaru is a little bit shaky because Kizaru, he has that whole, I have to load up my attack. He's only limited to certain attacks or whatever the case may be, and I'm questioning his speed because in the scene in Sabaody when I forgot who he was fighting, but he was fighting someone, and he charged up an attack. He tried to kick them, and the person in the anime. So I don't know how this would fare, but in the anime, I don't know if it happened in the manga, but I forgot the dude's name. But when Kizaru first showed up in Sabaody, in the anime, the dude was able to turn and look at the kick before Kizaru even kicked him. And if you're light speed, I don't think that person should have been able to look at your kick before you kicked them. So Kizaru's actual speed is at question. His actual speed is at hand is questionable. To me, it's questionable. But NL might be able to take on Law to a certain extent. I don't think NL, in room, like King of Lightning mentioned, Smoker was able to keep himself together in room. It's just the fact that Law can switch your spirits. But in a one-on-one fight, I think Law would beat Luffy. Versus NL, I think NL is his speed-wise, he's probably faster. Now you could argue the whole teleportation thing. That's a good argument. I still think his speed, I don't know. That's up for debate between teleportation and lightning. I don't know. But let's say NL leaves room. I don't think Law would be able to keep him in room. So let's say, because NL was able to fly up and go into the clouds in Skypiea. So let's say NL leaves room and he does that thundercloud thing that he did in Skypiea and blows up an island. So if he blows up an island in the blue seas, right? If he blows up the island that him and Law is fighting on, can Law actually keep up room? Like can Law hold up room itself? Can he hold that up? So I'm just wondering, can Law actually hold up room itself? Because anything within room he can manipulate. But if, let's say, NL does the thundercloud, and it destroys that island, and let's say the Law's room is falling into the ocean, would he be able to manipulate room, or would he be able to manipulate water itself within room? Would that contradict the whole devil fruit thing? So would he be able to manipulate water inside of his room if NL was able to blow up the island? And let's say I don't think NL's Thor is wide enough in parameter to take out room, but even though Law would be able to manipulate, I guess if he's fast enough with room, he'll be able to manipulate the Thor within his room. So I think NL will give him a run for his money. I think NL will really give him a run for his money. I know that wasn't the question at hand. I don't think Luffy can beat Law within his room, because Law, right off the bat, I think Law, knowing what he knows about Luffy now, about hockey and all that stuff, I think Law would be on edge if he fought against Luffy. I think if he fought against Luffy, room would be the first thing on his mind. He wouldn't even attempt to fight Luffy one-on-one without room. I think the first thing he'll activate if he fights Luffy is room, off the bat, right off the bat. And if he does that, Luffy can't win that fight. I don't think Luffy's gonna win if he activates Room right off the bat. Cause assuming that Luffy can beat up Law without Room is just an assumption or whatever you want to call it. But in actual, like in the anime and manga, if Luffy were to fight Law, I would expect Law to just straight up activate Room. Now you can say he could hold his own against opponents, like what happened on Sabaody when he was going against Kuma and all that stuff. He can hold his own without Room. I'm not saying he can't hold his own without Room. I'm just saying that Luffy's gonna wash him. It won't be one-sided, but Luffy's pretty much gonna wash him without Room. But I think Law is smart enough to know that he may not be able to take out Luffy without Room. Now some people may argue that, well, he should have known that he wasn't strong enough to take out Doflamingo without Room, but that's also an arguable statement. So I think if they fought, Luffy would win. I mean, Law would win, because Law would activate Room right off top. He would activate Room because he knows Luffy's pretty strong. So I think Law would definitely win that fight. I think without a doubt Law would win that fight against him and Luffy. So I guess to sum it all up, I'm just saying that Luffy may be the better fighter, but I don't think in the actual one-on-one, knowing what we know about Law in his room, I don't think Luffy would actually win the fight. Luffy won't actually win the fight, you know, due to the things I mentioned. And I just don't see him beating Law if Room is activated. If Room is activated. If Room isn't, then he can beat up Law. If it's not, if it is activated, there's no way. There's no way Luffy's gonna win that fight. It would have to be a Logia. I think, yeah, it would have to be a Logia. Not to say all the Logias are gonna do it, but it would have to be one, because they can, you know, manipulate themselves and all that stuff. So I was just chatting with somebody, and I was just saying that it's not the fact that Law, like, let's say I know that Law, I know your Devil Fruit would still hold within water, because Kuzin or Aokiji, he's able to turn the ocean into ice. So I know your Devil Fruit itself can withhold in water, but can Law actually manipulate Room itself, not things within Room, but Room itself? Like my thing with NL, because I think NL might be the one shot that can take out Law within his room, or when Room is activated. Let's say NL blows up an island that they're fighting on. Can Law hold Room itself from like falling into the ocean and getting him wet and all that stuff, and he ends up, his Devil Fruit like deactivates? And how long can he actually hold Room? How long would he be able to hold Room itself if he fought against like NL? Who like NL, he's like a Kizaru, he's a Kizaru that can do anything he wants. If we go back to Skypiea, NL was going crazy. He was El Thor, you can't touch him. El Thor, he's fast as hell. His attack fucking combination's crazy. He can go into the clouds and turn himself to thunderbolts. So if you argue the whole thing with Sasuke, he can turn himself into a Karin. He could do Karin himself. So he can do all that stuff. So I'm just saying, I think the only good matchup will be him versus NL when Room is activated. No one else can beat him in Room, I don't think. At least I don't think. The argument could be brought up, but from what I know now, no one can really beat him within Room. So that's my response. I don't think Luffy's gonna beat him in a fight, only because I would think that Law would activate Room right off top if he fought Luffy. Knowing what he knows, you know, about Luffy and all that stuff, I think off top he would activate Room. It wouldn't even be a question. He would activate Room. I don't think he'll attempt to fight Luffy just right off the bat, just off pure strength. You see what I'm saying? I don't think Law would do it. If you're saying that Law doesn't activate Room, I see Luffy winning. But if Room is activated, Luffy doesn't have a chance. That's my opinion. That's my thought about it. My response. Leave your comments down below. What do you guys think? Who would win in the fight, Law or Luffy? With my argument presented, what do you guys think about that? Like the video if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button. I'm Edmund. I'm out.